Welcome to a new video where we will explore an ancestral secret passed down from generation to generation. In my last video, I shared my grandmother's method for living to 97 years old using black beans, and your response was incredible. This ancient remedy truly works from the inside out, strengthening health in a natural and profound way. Many of you asked if using black bean powder would work just as well as whole beans, so today we will conduct an experiment to find out. Which method actually maximizes its benefits, and why do modern scientists consider it so effective? Furthermore, are there visible differences in the results depending on the preparation? Stay until the end to understand it all and take away a valuable tip for your health. To begin, we need to prepare the right amount of black beans. In my country, we call them black beans or black turtle beans. Some people also know them as black soybeans. And it is important to note that these beans are true superfoods for both health and beauty, especially for the skin. They are loaded with 9 essential amino acids that deeply hydrate the skin, slow down aging, and stimulate collagen production. Additionally, they are excellent for keeping blood pressure under control. The first step is to rinse the beans thoroughly with clean water. Even if they look clean, there is always dust or residue on the surface. A good wash is usually enough. But if you want to make sure you remove everything, you can repeat the rinse a couple of times. Then we let the beans soak for a little over an hour. This step is crucial as it prepares them perfectly for the next process and allows them to better absorb the vinegar in the subsequent experiment. Notice how the beans increase in size and look plumper after soaking. Even the soaking water is full of nutrients and can be used to water your plants or enhance other homemade preparations. Now that the beans are ready, we can move on to the next phase of the process. But first I ask you, did you know that the soaking water can be used to nourish plants or even for direct consumption? Can you imagine the benefits of every drop we normally discard? This curiosity will stay with us as we continue with the experiment. After the beans have absorbed water and hydrated, it is time to toast them. Place a skillet over high heat until it's very hot and add the beans. It is important to keep them constantly moving so they dry evenly and do not burn. Toasting the beans releases aromas that are absolutely incredible and anticipate the nutritional power they contain. This process not only improves the flavor, but also prepares the beans to better absorb the vinegar in the experimentation phase. An important tip: although I use a silicone spatula for aesthetics, a wooden spoon is highly recommended for efficient and safe toasting. Handling hot beans requires caution, as touching them while they are very hot could burn you. And if you plan to grind or soak them immediately, the temperature can affect the result. Notice how the beans change texture, become firmer, and their color intensifies, indicating they are ready for the next stage. Once the beans are completely toasted and have cooled, it is time to prepare the jars for our experiment. We will take 2 identical jars, making sure each contains the same amount of beans from the same batch. In the first jar, we will add the whole beans with apple cider vinegar, while in the second jar, we will grind the beans into a fine powder before adding the vinegar. This comparison will allow us to observe which method maximizes the benefits. Now, as we prepare the jars, an interesting question arises. How will the texture of the beans affect the absorption of the vinegar? Will the powder or the whole beans be more effective? These unknowns will stay with us throughout the rest of the experiment and help us better understand the unique properties of black beans and their ability to improve health. With the beans now toasted and cooled, we are ready to start our experiment that will allow us to discover which method is more effective, using whole beans or black bean powder. We will prepare 2 identical jars, ensuring that the amount of beans in each is exactly the same and comes from the same batch. In the first jar, we will place the whole beans and add apple cider vinegar until they are completely covered. In the second, we will grind the beans into a fine powder and then add vinegar as well. As we work, it is fascinating to observe how the powder behaves differently from the whole beans. Sometimes the powder shows slightly different colors, even if it comes from the same batch of beans. This phenomenon makes us wonder, why does this color change occur? Will this affect nutrient absorption or the remedy's effectiveness? Furthermore, when stirring the powder so it is well distributed in the vinegar, layers of sediment and finer particles are noticeable, anticipating the separation that will be seen after fermentation. This experiment will not only allow us to compare the expansion and texture of the beans, but it will also give us clues as to which form better facilitates the release of beneficial compounds. Apple cider vinegar, when interacting with the beans, will begin to absorb the nutrients and create a liquid that we can use for both consumption and other household uses. That is why it is important for the vinegar to completely cover the beans or the powder, ensuring that fermentation and the extraction of properties occur evenly. As we carry out these steps, another intriguing question arises. Could it be that the method that best preserves the shape of the beans also retains more active nutrients than the powder? Or does the powder, being more exposed to the vinegar, release more beneficial compounds? These doubts will stay with us over the next few days as we observe the transformation of the beans and analyze which option offers better results for health and vitality. Once the jars are ready and the beans are submerged in apple cider vinegar, the wait begins. By the very first day, surprising changes can be observed. The whole beans and the powder begin to absorb the vinegar, increasing in size and showing a slight reddish hue. This makes us wonder, why does this transformation happen so quickly? How does the color change affect the medicinal properties of the beans? As the days go by, we can notice how the texture and appearance of the beans evolve. The whole beans expand evenly, while the powder tends to form separate layers in the liquid, a thick sediment at the bottom, a finer layer in the middle, and the liquid on top. This separation raises another question. Which layer contains the highest concentration of active nutrients? Is it better to consume the liquid, the beans, or the powder? During this process, the smell intensifies, releasing a characteristic aroma that announces fermentation and the concentration of beneficial compounds. The resulting liquid acquires a slightly acidic taste due to the vinegar, but with sweet undertones coming from the beans themselves, making it suitable for consumption. However, it is important to remember, the jar should not be filled completely as the beans continue to expand and could spill over, affecting fermentation. This is the perfect time to reflect. What are the most significant changes indicating that the remedy is ready? How can we visually and sensorially interpret the effectiveness of each preparation? Closely observing the expansion, color, and separation of the liquid gives us clues about how nutrients are released and concentrated, allowing us to anticipate the health benefits that will become evident after 7 days of fermentation. Finally, while the jars remain resting at room temperature, more questions arise. Why do whole beans maintain their structure better? Does the powder, being more exposed to the vinegar, release more active compounds? Or does it lose some of them in the sediment? These questions will guide our observation over the coming days and allow us to objectively compare the two methods. After 7 days of soaking and fermentation, the black beans have reached their maximum potential as a natural remedy. At this stage, we can appreciate how they have transformed into a powerful tonic packed with essential nutrients. The beans are loaded with glycine, a compound that significantly helps lower cholesterol, and they contain linoleic acid, lecithin, and other essential fatty acids that help soften and dilate blood vessels, promoting healthy circulation naturally. This raises the question, how can such a simple food offer such profound benefits for cardiovascular health? Why does the combination of beans and vinegar enhance these effects? Scientific studies have shown that soaking beans in vinegar is highly effective in lowering blood fat levels. For example, research from the Japanese Institute of Biology reveals that after 8 weeks of regular consumption, over 80% of participants experienced a notable reduction in their lipids. Another study involving 60 people suffering from hypertension found that this simple remedy contributed to a significant reduction in blood pressure. This leads us to question, could such a simple home remedy be as powerful as conventional treatments? What other health conditions could improve through forgotten ancestral practices? In addition to cardiovascular benefits, this remedy also supports digestion, helps relieve chronic constipation, and reduces back and leg pain. It can even be useful for prostate health and helps combat premature hair aging and the appearance of gray hair, as well as coronary diseases. The remaining liquid part, rich in vinegar, acts as a powerful tonic that cleanses the cardiovascular system and helps keep the blood flowing, lowering the risk of strokes. A positive effect on cognitive function has also been observed. improving memory and helping to prevent cognitive decline in diseases like Alzheimer's. Upon observing these results, an important reflection arises. How many effective natural remedies remain unknown simply because they are considered ancient or homemade? What other grandmother's secrets could have similar effects on our health if we applied them with care and consistency? This experiment invites us to value traditional wisdom and consider how the foods we consume daily can become powerful allies for our well-being. After carefully observing the results of the experiment, we can conclude that whole black beans are the most effective option for harnessing the benefits of this ancestral remedy. After 7 days of soaking and fermenting in apple cider vinegar, the beans have expanded significantly and transformed the liquid into a natural tonic with surprising health properties. This simple method preserves the integrity of the nutrients and facilitates their absorption, confirming that the traditional preparation remains valid and effective. It is important to emphasize that bean powder, although it also releases nutrients, tends to form sediment and separate into layers that hinder uniform absorption, reducing its effectiveness compared to whole beans. This raises the question, why can the way we prepare a food make such a difference in its impact on health? Furthermore, we reflect on how these traditional processes, inherited from past generations, can complement modern approaches to wellness and nutrition. The resulting vinegar water is a powerful tonic that helps improve circulation, keep the blood flowing smoothly, and reduce cardiovascular risks, including the possibility of preventing strokes. It also supports cognitive function, helping to maintain memory and prevent neurodegenerative diseases. In this way, a simple food can have profound and diverse effects, ranging from digestive health to cardiovascular and cognitive well-being. Before concluding, it is important to make a call to action. Try this method with whole beans and observe how it transforms your well-being. Share your experiences and anecdotes, as each observation helps us better understand the power of ancestral remedies. Additionally, I invite you to continue exploring other natural secrets that Grandma used and that can still offer surprising benefits today. Finally, we are left with an open question. Would you dare to replicate this experiment at home and discover the magic of black beans for yourself? This simple gesture can be a step toward more complete health and a reminder of the value of traditional wisdom passed down from generation to generation.